Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is McDuck33 and welcome back to more Far Cry videos. So a couple of weeks ago I did a video on Far Cry 5. It was 5, I believe. And it was titled Far Cry 5 in 2020, Is It Still Good? And so in that video what I did was I went over, I think it was like 4 topics about the game. I basically reviewed the game, gave my opinion, and at the end I determined if Far Cry 5 was still good in 2020. So now I'm back, weeks later, same concept, but on Far Cry 2. It's on sale on Steam for $3 right now, so if you want to get it for yourself, I highly recommend it. Alright, so quick disclaimer, this is specifically my opinion. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I won't judge you. In fact, if you do have a different opinion, go ahead and comment below. I'd love to hear it. Also, I'm doing this unscripted, so it could go really good or really bad. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so the 4 categories we're going to look over today is combat, story, open world / travel, and I guess we can go for graphics, like we did Far Cry 5. So alright, let's start this off with combat. Combat in this game is... how to describe it? It's kind of just your normal shooter game. It's not too complicated. It's pretty much just point, shoot, reload. You can slide, but it's a really wonky slide. Granted, this game was made in 2008, so slides weren't really popular in games. But yeah, you can slide. It's pretty much just point and shoot. There is a very interesting mechanic, however, called the jamming mechanic. Where if you pick up an enemy's gun, then the game will literally tell you, this gun is old and reliable and can jam easily. And then if you shoot the gun for too long, or use it for too long, then it's gonna jam, and you have to do this whole little animation to get it unjammed. It's very, very stressful if your gun gets jammed, especially if it's something like an LMG, where it's gonna take a long time to unjam it. So yeah, that's the jamming mechanic, which is... I don't really like it, but I understand why they put it in. So, next in the combat, I don't know, the combat section, again, I'm doing this unscripted. The combat section, guns don't have sights, and you can't put sights on them. So, in earlier games, we'll take 5 for example, or not earlier games, in later games, we'll take 5 for example, you would be able to add 3 upgrades to the gun. You could add a larger magazine, for larger magazine size. You could add a silencer, so that enemies would not hear the gunshot when you fired it. And then you could add a sight, so there were like dozens of sights in the game. Very handy and very useful. In this game, you don't get none of them upgrades. It's just straight iron sights, except for the explosive crossbow, which you might see later, and the sniper rifles. Other than that, it's just iron sights. And it can be kind of annoying, especially at longer ranges. However, I haven't found too much of an issue with it. Unlike other games, you have a very specific type or loadout. You have a very specific loadout. Instead of other games where you just kind of have 4 weapons of your choosing, except for the second slot, which is usually a pistol. In this game, you have 3 guns and a machete. So your primary slot is sniper rifles, shotguns, assault rifles. So normal primary stuff that you'd see. Your second slot goes to pistols and sidearms. So stuff like D2s, which you saw me using. Stuff like grenade launchers, maybe. I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten to the point where I can purchase a grenade launcher, so I'm not quite sure if grenade launchers go in that slot. But the third slot is special, and that's like RPGs, LMGs, explosive crossbow, flamethrower, that kind of stuff. And so then stealth. We'll move on to stealth. Stealth isn't really existent in this game. You have to have a silenced weapon, such as the Silent MP5, which you probably just saw me purchase. Or I think it's the silenced pistol. I forget what the pistol's name is, but that is also, those are the only two silenced guns that I've gotten so far. I'm not sure. There's the shotgun in the armory, but I don't know if that's silenced or not. I think it is. I started using it for a little bit and then moved over to the AK. Anyways, I digress. So, overall, this combat system is actually really fun. I actually really enjoyed this combat system. It's simple. It's not too advanced like other games. You kind of just go around and shoot people, and you don't feel as weak as you do in 5 or other games. More so 5, because I know in 3 and 4 it kind of had the same like animation, where if you didn't have any syringes, you could just do that little animation and it will heal you. Anyways, you don't feel as weak, I guess, because you do have that backup animation once you get past 1 health. However, dying is incredibly bad. Because if you die, then you go back to your last save, which God knows how long that has been. I've gone back 20 minutes because I've died, which is really annoying. Anyways, yeah, that's the combat system. Again, very simple, but I like it. I like it because of its simplicity. Alright, so next up is going to be story. So the story for this game is kind of all over the place. I think the general idea is that there's a war in Africa. You somehow got to Africa, and there's this arms dealer named the Jackal that's selling guns, and you want to stop him. So the intro pretty much is linear. You can't really change what happens in the intro. But once the intro finishes, there's this message that pops up that's like, "Hooray, you have finished the introduction section of this game. Complete missions to advance the story." And then it's like, "Your purpose has become clear. Find and kill the Jackal." So I was just, and then the message goes away, and I was just kind of like, okay, that's cool. Now what? So from playing this for the past like 4 hours, I think I understand what the story, but I could be wrong. If I am wrong, please let me know down in the comments, because I'd love to be corrected, and I'd love to actually know how the story goes, or actually progresses. Sorry, reading it without a script is hard. So there is, like 3 and 4, there is a what's it called? It's like a mission counter, kinda. If you go into statistics, so if you hit escape, statistics, it should say main missions completed, and there's a total of 32 main missions. The weird thing is that I don't know which missions are main missions and which ones aren't. There's missions for the AFR, I think is what it's called. I'm not quite sure. And then there's the other faction, the UFLL, I think. I don't know, I don't memorize these names. And so there's missions for both of those, but I don't know if it's like a storyline or what? Because I did like 7 missions for the UFLL faction, and then that questline stopped, and then I started doing missions for the other faction. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think you just kind of go around and do main missions. That seems like the general trend of this game. There is a pretty cool feature, actually, where if you have no active story mission, you can go to any arms dealer gun shop, and that is how you unlock new guns to buy. You talk to the gun person, oh yes. You talk to the person behind the counter, and they will give you a mission, which, from my experiences, is destroy a convoy. And then you go destroy that, and then yeah, hooray, new guns unlocked. I think there's 3 new guns unlocked every side mission, and those do not count as story missions. Okay, let's see, that was story. So now let's move on to open world / travel. So the open world in this game, the map is actually really small. However, it feels pretty big. So the general idea of this open world is that I swear I can't go to one mission marker without hitting a guard post or a safe house. Now I'm not sure what either of those 2 locations do. So I've just kind of shot everybody and then moved on. Found a car and moved on. So I'm not 100% sure what exactly those locations do. I don't know you can't fast travel to them, because the fast travel system is wonky in this game, and I'll get to that later. So it's a little confusing, but I think it's just to clear them out. I'm not 100% sure, and I've only played this game for like 6 hours. So yeah, the fast travel system in general is weird. So it's kind of like Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and Revelations, where you have the tunnel system, and you have to go to a specific location to then fast travel to a different location. In this game they're called bus stops, but you have to go to a bus stop, and then there's 4 other bus stops around the open world, 1 in each corner of the map, which I'll get to in a second. The map is a very interesting concept. There's 4 in each corner of 1 in each corner of the map, 4 total, plus 1 in the center, the ceasefire zone called Paula. So that makes it, I'd say, semi-difficult. I tend to have a lot of trouble if it's one of those moving convoy missions, because they can move around the map, and sometimes you can't get to a bus station in time, and then you have to drive and catch up to them, and it's just not a fun time if that happens. So it's underdeveloped, I'd say, but it makes sense for a game made, 12 years ago. I think it was 12 years ago. So yeah. Now let's move on to the map, which, I'm gonna be honest, the map is complicated. You have a physical map, so unlike 5, where you can just kind of press tab or whatever your inventory key is, and it pulls up with the map and shows you the big world place, and you can travel to pretty much any location, and it's great, and yeah, not in this game. In this game you have a physical map. It does not freeze time at all, so if you need to go places and people are shooting at you, then you're going to have to put down your map and shoot at them back. English, please, Jesus. It might seem like I'm making this sound like a bad thing, but I promise it's not that bad. You kind of get used to it. But it is a little annoying to have to put down the map every time you get shot at. But other than that, it's fine. It does the job. There's technically 3 different zoom-ins. Is that even a word? Zoom-ins of the map. there's the normal map, there's the which is like the world map. That's the big world map that shows the entire world. You'll see that in the video footage. And then there's the so there's a world map. There's the zoomed in map. So that's like your surrounding area, which I think is actually really cool. How it has a specific map for your surrounding area that shows guard posts and safe houses in your area. Because the world map does not show that. Because there's so many of them that it would just clutter up all the map space, and you wouldn't be able to see any roads, which is kind of the main focus of why you'd want to use the world map. But I digress. The third map mode is if you're in like a specific named location, then it will zoom in on that named location, which I think is really cool. It's actually super useful because I found that a lot of missions I've had to kind of look around for where the mission marker is, and it gets really annoying. And yeah, because you don't have a mini map or a compass like other games, which makes it difficult. I will say that missions are pretty repetitive. They're kind of just, let's say, fetch quests, almost. I found a lot of them are pretty much just, here, go there, blow up this, come back, we'll give you some money. And speaking of money, actually, I completely forgot about this topic. There is no cash, which is weird. That seems... I don't know. Cash is kind of just a human currency. A modern human currency, I should say. Anyways, you use diamonds, which seems really weird considering, like, you can get up to, like, 100 diamonds, which, at that point, you might as well just keep the diamonds because you've struck gold. Well, actually, no, you've struck diamonds, but you're just, like, laying in money at that point. So it doesn't really make sense how that works. Either way. Alright, let's see. Final topic, graphics. So, the only reason I'm doing graphics is because we still got 3 minutes of footage left, and I don't want to waste that. And it's also on my list of things to discuss. I was tired last night, please don't ask. Graphics, for the time, this game actually looks pretty cool. However, now, the graphics are just absolute garbage. Like, compared to 5, the graphics are horrible. I absolutely despise this game's color palette, like, with a passion. Except for the green, the little lush green areas of Africa, which I didn't know existed. And they might not even exist in the real world. But yeah, the lush greenness actually looks pretty cool. It's actually a lot of fun to drive around in like a buggy around the desert, because there are sections of the map that are sectioned off into like deserty biomes. But overall, the graphics are kind of bad. The people, I don't know if they form syllables with their mouths, but they might not. For some reason, I really hate the subtitles in this game. I have no idea why, but I hate the subtitles. Like, I don't know what there is about them that makes me just kind of, but I just don't like them at all. So, yeah, overall, graphics are pretty bad, but for the time, I think they were pretty good. And they're bearable. Not something I would... it's not a game that I would not play because the graphics are horrible. But yeah, I'm running out of time. Alright, so let's do this outro. So that is my review of Far Cry 2. I do want to, like for the Far Cry 5 video, I do want to say my opinion, and I believe that yes, Far Cry 2 has aged pretty well. The combat is solid, The story is confusing but still solid. The open world is, again, weird but solid, and the graphics are pretty bad but still okay. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like. Thank you so much for watching. And if you guys really enjoyed, be sure to hit